So, we're just going to talk real quick until I get called into the dock. So, trucking and driving fatigued. Let's definitely talk about it, okay? Here's the truth about trucking. You see what time it is right now? There's no sun up. It's 6 in the morning, so the sun's going to be coming up soon. But I'm at like the end of my night / morning, right? I drive through the night, and in trucking, most of the jobs that I've held up to this point, I'm about 4 years and some change into this. You're going to be driving at night. All right. Like I said, most of the jobs that I've held in trucking, you start at night and you drive through the night most of the time. A lot of these guys that you see that are daytime drivers, that's most likely not going to be you. And here's the thing. A lot of these guys that you see driving during the day, a lot of them too are probably coming near the end of their day, right? A lot of trucking starts at night, which means you're going to be driving around fatigued. I know when you go to these trucking companies, they say never drive fatigued. If you're tired, pull over. The truth about it is you're going to come across these situations when you're fatigued. And yes, you do need to pull over. I'm talking about it right now because, dude, I am dead tired right now. Well, not as bad as I was, but I was driving, I was feeling fatigued. So what did I do? I pulled over. I thugged it out until I got to the rest area on my route. I pulled over, and there was no there was one. There was the handicap spot open, like this rest area that I go to. I thugged it out until the second one. I was good to go past the first rest area, right? And that first rest area is really sketch, so I try not to stop at it. So I thugged it out till I got to the second rest area on my route. And by the time I got to the second rest area, I definitely needed to get off of the road and take a nap. I took a little cat nap for about an hour. I didn't even sleep for the whole hour. I probably slept for like 40 minutes. Like 30 to 40 minutes is like how much I slept. And that gave me enough recharge to finish my route. At that point, I had about 2 hours left on my route. It's like 1 hour and 40, but I'm on 101 going through Mendocino and Humboldt County to get to where I go to Eureka. So I'm going through mountains, I'm going up hills, down hills and shit, and I'm loaded. So tonight's load was pretty heavy. It was pretty heavy on the drives and the tandems. So a lot of this, like even going up slight inclines, 35, sometimes what, 30, but 45, 40, just going real slow up all these mountains. So yeah, it gave me enough recharge to finish my route, which I had 2 hours left on my route. So I'll just tell you, this was probably one of the most fatigued times that I've felt. In this day cab, I run a day cab. Okay, this is a day cab. I do local trucking. Well, it's pretty much local. I spend the night. I go out and I spend the night, and then I go back home. It's local. I stay within the state. It's about a 7-hour run. The whole shift is like about 9 hours from when I get to the yard. And yeah, I work at the most, it's like 10 hours on duty. Most of the nights it's like 7 or 8 hours of work that I put in, right? But when I was driving, and here's the thing, there's something about my route. I run from Tracy to Eureka, which covers in like the bulk of it near the end of the route is Mendocino and Humboldt County. And I don't know, dude, there's something about driving through the forest at night that makes me tired. Even when I get a good night's sleep, I'm not saying like, not every time that you drive around yawning are you fully fatigued, But there's something about, I'm telling you, bro, there's something about, well, number one, it's the circadian rhythm in your body. You naturally get tired at night and you're naturally awake during the morning. And that's the thing that sucks about driving at night, is because when you drive around at night, even if you slept all day, it's not natural for you to fall asleep during the day. It's natural for you to go to work during the day and then go home and go to sleep at night when the temperature cools down, when it's dark, right? That's your body's natural rhythm. Whether you're a morning person or a night owl, you naturally get tired at night. So even if, like I said, even if you slept all day, you're still gonna crack out a few yawns during your night shift. Now, just because you're yawning doesn't mean you're fatigued, and you can most likely finish out your shift. But it's something you need to be aware of. What happened to me, dude, this is probably the most fatigued that I felt at work so far at this job. You know, I was driving, dude, and I was literally seeing like hallucinations on the road. I was like, there's a lot of fog out right now during this time of year on my route through Mendocino and Humboldt County on 101 northbound and southbound, right, on both sides, because it's through the same area. And I'm driving, right, and there's this fog on the road, and I'm seeing like black apparitions on the road. Not like ghosts, or they could be ghosts. You know, it's your fatigued brain, your mind playing tricks on you. So I'm driving and I'm seeing like on the road, I'm seeing like these like these black spots all over the road. Like almost like black smoke within the fog, just like moving around, just like all over the place. I'm seeing like these black spots on the road. Now, when you're driving, some chick told me when I started at CR England, she was like, you know, if you're ever driving and you see the black dog at night, that means you need to pull over because you're getting tired. I guess that's like some, I don't know, some ghost or some shit, some apparition that your mind conjures up. I didn't see the black dog, but I saw like these black these black lines in the road. They weren't lines, they looked like little like ghosts or like pieces of smoke or something within the fog. And it was hard, like I was feeling like my head was getting real heavy and my eyes around here were getting real heavy. I wasn't shutting my eyes or anything. I was able to keep my eyes up, but like you feel it around like the top of your chest to your head. It starts to feel really heavy, and you know when you're tired. And like I said, I was able to thug it out past the first rest area, but once I got to the second rest area, there wasn't, you know, the thing that sucked about it is all the truck parking was taken. There was a handicap spot that I could have pulled into on the truck parking side. I parked and I took over some car parking spots. It's not like separate driveways like how you go into most rest areas. The one I go to, it's one driveway and all the parking is just right there. It's not separated. And there was a row open right in front of this trash can, and it was car parking, but dude, I just took it over. I shut down. In total, I was there for 1 hour and 8 minutes. And you know what's cool? I still made it to my appointment. The 5:30 appointment. I showed up and I walked in the receiving office at 5:38. 8 minutes late. I'm on time. So I still made it on time. You know, here's the thing about local trucking or just trucking in general. Every now and then you're gonna feel this shit, dude. This is something you need to be aware of. Even if you get a full night's sleep, or a full days of sleep, or sometimes it could even happen during the day to when you feel fatigued. You're sitting in here, it happens. It's very important that you pull over and take a nap. I don't care if you work for Pepsi. I don't care if you work for Cisco, US Foods. I don't care if you're whatever you're doing. No touch freight, touch freight. If you're feeling fatigued, number one, you're in charge of the truck. Like, you're the boss out here, okay? You're in charge of the freight. You're in charge of the lives around you on the highway. It's really important that when you're off work, you get enough sleep. My situation right now is my living situation is really, really bad right now. My living situation is it's just not good at all. This is why I'm in the process of getting back into the sleeper, you know? Sometimes the living situation's so bad to where it's hard for me to get sleep when I go home. At this point, sometimes I like dread going home because that's how bad it is, right? So that's why I'm like trying to get back out into the sleeper. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, dude. I was seeing buildings that weren't there when I was hallucinating. Yeah, you start hallucinating. I was seeing, I swear to God, dude, I was driving and there was like the fog, right? And you feel it in your chest. It's like your chest and your head. It's not like a throbbing, but it's just like your chest is like saying, we need sleep. Your body needs sleep. Your heart needs sleep, you know what I'm saying? And I'm literally seeing, it looked like I was seeing ghosts. It did. It looked like I was seeing apparitions on the highway. If I have to explain it, like black blankets all over the highway, but moving like smoke, moving around like this, like black sheets or black blankets on the highway in the fog, like in the lane, all over the highway, just moving like that. That's what I was seeing. I was like, dude, I'm over here tripping right now, bro. I'm over here hallucinating, you know. And then every now and then, like, I'll see almost like what looks like a ghost, like literally an apparition on the side of the highway. Like, this happened 3 times on the way up here just now, like an hour or like 3 or 4 hours ago, right? I'm driving up 101, and when I'm coming around these bends, it literally looked like a human, but like a white apparition of a human figure on the side of the highway, and it appears for like 2 seconds and then it disappears. That plus everything I was seeing in the fog. If I would have kept going, if I was going to be that much of a hardhead and keep going, and if I didn't stop at that rest area, I would have crashed the truck. I guarantee you I would have crashed the truck. There was no way that I could have kept going, right? People call that seeing the black dog driving fatigued. Yeah. So here's the thing. This is what I want to talk about, okay? A lot of us, when we're new, like, we take safety serious because we're new and the truck is like really big, right? Look how big this is. The truck is like really big. So we're like, oh, I'm going to be all about safety, like you should. Because look how big that monster is, right? And we do a thorough pre-trip, especially when you're fresh out of school. You're still doing like air brake tests on every truck you get into, you know? A lot of us don't do an air brake test every time we get into a truck. Right? We do a pre-trip, but we're not over here like, you know what I mean? Like bleeding the brakes and shit. You should, but let's just be honest. A lot of us don't, right? So, you tend to think when you're new, like, oh, that'll never be me. I'll never allow myself to be in a situation where I'm on the road and I'm driving fatigued. That's what you tell yourself when you're new. You're gonna drive fatigued. It happens, okay? If you're out here trucking for a whole career, right here on this route, on this job, it's happened to me about, a handful of times. In total, I've been on this route for about a year and some change now, right here at this company. It's happened twice in the sleeper. Once tonight, I had to pull over and take a nap. Before that, it was like like right before the summer, April, May, like probably in May, early June, I had to pull over. So before this, probably like three or 4 months before this, I had to pull over and take a nap. Usually I just bust this out. It's nothing for me to just drive up here to Eureka from Tracy. You know what I mean? Even with like working before with pre-tripping and fueling up, because when I fuel up, I go out the way to fuel up. I got to drive out to like Ripon or Stockton to fuel up. I can't just like get in the truck and just go pick it up. We usually got to fuel up the truck, right? Every now and then you get lucky and the truck has a full tank. So by the time I start my route, I'm already in like hour and 15 minutes into my shift, you know? So yeah, it's like 8 or 9 hours of work most of the time. And when I was in the sleeper, we used to be able to run 101, but someone got in trouble for the length limit, so we got kicked off 101. So then we started running Highway 5 to crossing over on 299 and then catching 101 coming out of like what, McKinleyville or whatever by Cal Poly Humboldt, right when we come in on 101 at the end of 299. And I probably stopped at the rest area on 299 twice and took a nap, you know? And when I was in the sleeper, when we were still able to run 101, I stopped at the scale in southern Mendocino County, right before Sonoma, probably twice. Like I actually, twice at the scale in southern Mendocino. One time I spent the night up there at that scale. It was that bad, you know? And that was before I got on my CPAP machine. I have sleep apnea, all right? And that's another thing about driving fatigued. Some of you guys have sleep apnea and you don't even know it. Like, yeah, I put on some weight and I know that's the reason why I got CPAP or sleep apnea. But sleep apnea could happen to anyone. It happens to skinny people all the time. It happens to people that are muscular, especially like when you get real muscular and ripped like that. Your tongue stores a lot of fat from the excess calories that you're eating if you're like bodybuilding and shit. And like the muscles, like your neck gets bigger, and you end up, a lot of bodybuilders and people who hit the gym real hard, they end up with sleep apnea. If you sleep the whole night, like if you're consistently sleeping 8, some of you guys actually sleep a full 10 hours, and you wake up and you feel kind of groggy, like you feel shitty, and throughout your shift you're noticing that like you're yawning, like you feel tired. And especially, here's a dead giveaway. If you wake up and you got a sore throat, and especially a dry throat, let's say you fall asleep at 11, right? And you wake up at 2:30, 3 in the morning. Just out of nowhere, you wake up in the middle of the night, and you do that a lot, that's most likely sleep apnea, okay? If you have dreams to where you feel like you're falling off of a building, and you wake up and you're like, and like you wake up with a breath from being scared because you're falling off of a building, that's a sleep apnea dream. That's your brain telling you to wake up. And you take this breath, because what happens is your tongue is blocking off your airway. It's closing off your throat. So your tongue is, as how do you say it? Asphyxiating you. It's choking you, right? Your tongue is strangling you, and your lungs and like your body, it's like working overtime trying to get air out of your throat past your tongue. You know what I'm saying? So you have these dreams. One dream that I've had before, even with the CPAP machine, like mine's set at 4, I had to bump it up to 5, you know, And I had this dream that I was in a pool and someone put me in a bag, like in a sheet, like a sleeping bag sheet, and they zipped it up in the pool, right? And like some bear came in the pool and literally put me in this sheet with the zipper on it, and then fucking zipped it up, and then water started coming into the bag, dude. That's sleep apnea. If you're ever in a dream to where you feel like your air is getting cut off and like you're in a situation where you can't breathe in a dream, that's sleep apnea, dude. And dude, it's so important that you guys get sleep out here. If you have sleep apnea, I'm telling you, like some of these accidents that you see, a lot of it has to do with sleep, you know? So, you know, if you get caught in an accident, if you cause an accident because you're fatigued, they could charge you with like vehicular homicide. Like these trucks, dude, this is some serious shit out here. Like this is federal, you know? You're dealing with the feds, dude. Like DOT, this shit's the feds right here. That's a federal agency right there. The Department of Transportation, that's not state. You get charged with vehicular homicide in a commercial vehicle, you're going to the feds. You're not going to no state prison. You're gonna do time in the feds. Just by going to work. Doesn't that suck? I mean, we move America's freight. You would think they would give us some leniency because we're out here working. They don't do that to construction workers. Even construction workers that work like that go out of state within their union, they don't charge them with federal shit, but they charge us. That's just the way it is. That's why you gotta be on your shit, dude. You're gonna drive fatigued. You're gonna be in a situation where you're gonna be fatigued. It's gonna happen to you. The job gets more dangerous every year because drivers keep getting worse. Yeah, that too. That too. I've noticed truck drivers have been getting more dangerous and more reckless out here on the roads. Especially like when I'm going through road work and it's very tight. I'm always getting these assholes that are passing me on the left when I'm going the speed limit. It says slow down to 35. And here's the thing. Slow down to 35, that's for a car. You're in a truck. You should at least be going 5 below that. So if you're going through a tight, narrow section of road work and it says slow down to 35, you should be at 30. And I'm getting these fucking asshole truck drivers that are passing me on the left, barely, like so close to my mirror, right? Like right there, like they're almost about to take it out. And they're speeding through road work, dude. When there's a crew out there. That's what I'm talking about, dude. It's, shit's dangerous out here, bro. How about all this tailgating? Yeah, tailgating too. Yeah, hell yeah. This is what I'm saying, dude. Like, I just got a sneaking suspicion either these are shady companies or most of these dudes that are doing like this reckless driving, they have to be owner-operators. Because us company drivers, more and more, we have this. See that? That's a camera. If I were to tailgate and do all this shit that these reckless truck drivers are doing, I would get fired. So it's just my sneaking suspicion that, dude, these have to be owner-operators that are the most reckless, careless, dangerous drivers out here. I mean, everyone's talking about these foreign drivers, right? And I saw this news report of this dude who's like a lawyer speaking out against like these companies that hire, I guess they're illegals or whatever. And he's saying that it's nothing to like start a trucking company. Like it's really not that complicated to get a truck and start a trucking company. So, okay, if it's that easy to basically become an owner-operator, it has to be owner-operators and like these shady companies that are doing shit like tailgating, barely sideswiping you, you know, like they're so close to sideswiping you, speeding through road work, passing you up, just narrowly, just so close to hitting the side of your truck, right? Because us big companies, dude, we have safety departments. We can't get away with doing shit like that. Not unless if we want to get fired, you know. It's everyone driving out here aggressively, driving, speeding, inconsiderate drivers. We need stricter laws for all driver's licenses, drivers, cars, trucks, everyone. Yeah. Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. They're foreigners. Well, yeah, I mean, foreigners, whether they're illegal or whatever, you know, they're not all foreigners doing this. It's American citizens that are driving like assholes too, you know. Yeah, I saw a tanker driver run some old people off the road yesterday. Everyone's drunk high or on their phones. Yeah. Hell yeah. That's true, especially when you go through these big cities. You do in Costco, those fools would always ask me to move their trailers. Yeah, but you get paid for that. You get paid for trailer moves. This job, you could just end up in a jail cell for no fault of your own. Yeah, Buenos Dias, sleep apnea. If sent by a company, if you have a CDL and you refuse, is almost as bad as a refused drug test, automatic suspension. Yeah, for real. I remember doing teams and I would always get pushed to driving at night. Shit sucks. Yeah, that's another thing. So let's talk about that. So let's talk about team driving with this shit. So yeah, you should pretty much like never team drive. I don't recommend team driving at all for the issue of fatigue. It's pretty much impossible for you to get sleep in the back of a moving sleeper, right? Forget about it. How are you supposed to sleep like this? This is how you are in the back of a sleeper when you run teams. You're not getting quality sleep. Sometimes you're not getting sleep at all, dude. No, you should never run teams. And I appreciate Night Transportation and even Martin Transport when I went to go talk to those companies. When I was in orientation for Night and Martin Transport, they straight up told me that you don't really make that much money on teams, that you make more money solo. I straight up asked Night Transportation, I was like, hey, so if I ran teams, would I make at least a little bit more money? And the dude in the office in Tulare was like, honestly, not really. It's all the same, really. I mean, yeah, you're going to get a higher CPM, but that's going to get split between you and the other drivers. So say they hire you at 90 CPM, that's 45 CPM, really. That you're going to get paid. So you make more just running hard by yourself, right? You should never run teams. Don't do teams. Don't do that shit, you know? But driving fatigue, dude, it's going to happen to you. And when it does, that's when your professionalism comes into play and you have to get off the road. I don't care, dude, if you have to pull off at an exit ramp and you're sleeping on the shoulder. I don't care. Even if your company has a policy to where they don't want you sleeping on the shoulder, if you have the choice of sleeping on the shoulder and that's the only place that you could pull off, you know what I'm saying? You have to ask yourself, okay, so what's worse? To keep on driving and I'm fatigued and I'm gonna fall asleep behind the wheel and get into a catastrophic accident and probably fucking like take someone out, take out a whole family and maybe even myself, and definitely destroy the whole unit, or pull off on the shoulder and get a write-up for sleeping on the shoulder of an exit ramp. You better take that exit ramp. Like it's worth it to get that write-up. Give me a write-up all day. Because at least if I get a write-up, I'm not going to get fired. It's just a write-up. So it might not even be a write-up. It just might be a talking to from safety. And it's not going to go on my MVR. And it's not an accident, you know? Team driving, hell no. I did that with JB Hunt years ago. Never again. Co-driver would smoke those brakes across 70 in Colorado every time. Yeah. Yeah, bro. Yeah, definitely don't be out here team driving. I'm freaking pooped, dude. I'm about to get into this hotel and go to sleep after I get unloaded. I'm just waiting for the doc to call me. Yeah. I'm so tired right now. I should be like vlogging and shit, but forget about it. I'm done, bro. I'm done. Yeah, so what I did, you know, when it happens to you in a day cab like this, yeah, it's so messy in here. That's pretty much what I did, okay? I slept like this. Just across like that. You know, I was sitting upright right here with the door closed, and I got some clothes out, like my sweats and some shorts and my hoodie. I took off my hoodie right here, and that was my pillow. And I was sitting upright right here, leaning, like, look, my head right here, and I had a pillow on the window. Like I was just sitting up, like right here. I had a pillow set up right here. And I was sleeping, just right here, right there. And that was about like an hour worth of some sleep, you know? And that was enough to keep me going. That was enough to finish the route. That's what you gotta do out here. Dude, I bought this chocolate cake from Sprouts, dude. Fire, homie. Fire, dude. What you guys talking about? Are trainers in the major trucking companies required to sit in the passenger seat now? Or do they still go in the sleeper? They're required to be in the passenger seat. But what a lot of trainers do is they turn your training into team driving. Which I don't agree with, but they do it. They do it. So here's the thing, right? When you get on a trainer's truck, a good trainer is going to gauge where you're at. If a trainer sees that you're good, even if you're new, if you're good, if you're picking up on it quick and fast, you know, then these companies, they still require you to be on the trainer's truck for a certain amount of time. And if the trainer sees that you're good at the job, you're pretty much just going to be running teams to make that trainer more money that week. They're going to take advantage of pretty much having a team driver, but you're not going to be like at that point. It benefits the trainer. Look at this shit. That shit's fire, bro. This is dank, dude. I've been trying to eat healthy. You know, I have been eating healthy. It's been like 50-50, you know? But I was at Sprouts and I saw this. I saw this like by the bread when I walked past it. I was like, nah, dude. Like, I gotta get this shit, you know? I just had to do it. $300,000 is very good team trucking if all the money goes to one household. I mean, you know where you could probably make money like that? Is team trucking car hauling. There's a trucking company out there, Something Transport. They have orange trucks with enclosed trailers where they do car hauling, and they have like really big sleepers, and they do teams. I heard that company. I forget what it's called. The trucks are very recognizable. I heard people make money doing that. Trainer will run you and say you aren't good enough yet to keep you on, and he gets paid more for the training plus the loads, and he isn't working. Yeah. When I first started driving a long time ago, the trainer would go into the sleeper and leave me alone, driving mostly nighttime straight out of school. 150K per driver, that's not bad. If that's a couple, they're killing it. Yeah, but most team drivers don't make that much. You could make 150K, but honestly, you're most likely going to make that 150K on your own. Not really in team driving. Because in team driving, the CPM it's too low. They put these ads out to where they'll say like, oh, $1 a mile, split between two drivers, 50 cents a mile, right? Most companies, they'll hire you at like 52, 55 cents a mile. You know what I mean? But yeah, when I started at CR England, there was 3 of us in the truck. It was a truck with 3 beds in the sleeper. There was a bed on top, literally on top of the driver and passenger seat. Well, not directly on top, but like slightly to the back. And then there was the bunk in the back. And the driver, my trainer was a scumbag. He wasn't following the rules. I think it's like federal law, actually, that if you're team driving, someone has to be with the seatbelt in the bottom bunk. You know what I'm saying? They're supposed to be in the bottom bunk with the seatbelt on. You know what I'm saying? And this fucking guy, he always had us sleeping on the top bunk because his bed was the bottom bunk. Like, I get it. That's his assigned truck. It's dangerous to be on the top bunk. Even with the seatbelt on, it's just dangerous. You feel me? And this motherfucker, he was such a piece of shit. he was a good dude, but he was still a scumbag. He did a lot of scummy shit. And he was sitting with me for about 3 days. 3 days, he was right there riding shoddy for like 3 days. And then he saw that I was good at driving. And then, you know, he went in the sleeper because he would be right there for 2 shifts. You know what I'm saying? So he would be there for like 16 to 20 something hours right there. And, you know, and then we would shut down. Every now and then we would shut down for like 3 or 4 hours in between me and the other student. And that's when that fool would like go to sleep. And a lot of the times, this dude would be, I don't want to drop the cake. Damn, bro. He'd be right there in the passenger seat like this. You know what I'm saying? That dude was making like 150 grand a year at CR England, but he had a really bad quality of life. And it's not because he was running OTR and living in the truck. It's because he was running OTR, living in the truck, and training 2 students at the same time all year long. So he wasn't getting good quality sleep. His diet was okay. He had a decent diet, right? No, he made a lot of money though. And yeah. So yeah, I was pretty much, and he kept me out there for about a month. I was out there for about a month, running OTR with this dude, and I was always driving at night. Because the first student, he drove nights for a little bit, but he got off the truck, but he was mainly during the day, right? And then we picked up this other homeboy who was an OG dude, my good friend from Kerman, California, I think, right? Yeah. And it was just hard for him to stay awake at night. So I was running nights. And yeah, it sucked. And I would pretty much get little to no sleep all month. And yeah, that was pretty much it. That was asleep. I mean, that was the situation. I was getting no sleep and driving 10 to 11 hours, every now and then 8 hours if I told my instructor that I was fatigued. And he didn't really teach us how to back. He didn't teach us how to like dock in or to like, like do 45s or alley docks or parallel parking or anything like that. We learned that in school. He was supposed to teach us more, but he just used us for the miles. And yeah, for the most part, after the third day, he was in the back of the sleeper all the time, just using us for the miles. But yeah, driving fatigue, dude, it's real. You're gonna go through it, and it's gonna scare the shit out of you. When you drive fatigued, it's gonna scare you like a motherfucker, bro. It is. And when it happens, dude, you got to be that professional and get your ass off that road. Let's see, run you. 50 CPM split, 4,800 miles is 2,400. Just dropping in. My O say hola. What's up with it? 150,000 per team isn't great. That's 75,000 each. You could do that alone. Yeah, you don't want to live in no fucking truck with another one. Dude, you don't even want to live in the truck with your old lady. You don't want to do that shit, bro. You just don't want to live in the truck with your old lady. You live in the truck with your old lady, dude, y'all got to really be in love. Because that's a good way to end that relationship. You guys are just going to get sick of each other. Team drivers just get sick of each other, right? 50 CPM nowadays for a team is cheap, and 4,800 miles isn't enough for a team. That's just a shitty life running teams. I wouldn't team, but teams make more money because of the miles they get nonstop. The foreigners run teams. They run 3 teams. They run 3 in a truck. I've seen it. They got those sleepers that they buy at like the CR England auctions or the Swift or Prime auctions where there's 3 beds in the truck and they'd be in there 3 or 4 deep running that truck, right? Busting out those loads as an owner operator, splitting all the cash. And that's just what they do. You know what I'm saying? No, I can't do that. Like I can't be in the sleeper like that. Like you go over like a big ass speed bump on the freeway. That's you in the sleeper. I remember one time I was driving the truck and the other student was in the top bunk and I went over a nasty fucking like pothole on the freeway, like one of those potholes or bumps in the road where it's like boom, right? And this he was in the top bunk and all I heard was boom, and that fool was like, oh fuck. You don't want to be team driving out here, dude. You just don't want to do that shit. Man, I think they forgot about me. I seriously think that they forgot about me in the dock. No sound? All right, cool. We're good now. They called me into the dock. That's why it got all fucked up right now. I gotta start live streaming like on a separate phone. I got this iPhone right here. This is what I use to vlog. Yeah, so there's a truck that's gonna come out of door 1, and then I'm gonna go in door 1. When that happens, I'm obviously gonna get out of here, you know. But yeah, I had a load that got canceled this week because the trailer was all bad and the weight was off. So yeah, I mean, local's cool, you feel me? But there's definitely some downsides to local, like driving fatigued. Let's say you go home, right? And you got kids and all that. Good luck getting some sleep. Especially if you run nights. Like, you guys are gonna have to make a concerted effort as a family for you to get some sleep. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna tell your kids to shut up all day. So while you sleep all day, then you turn around and go back to work. I don't know how that works, bro. I don't know. Hey, did you guys catch Mr. By the Mile's latest live stream? When he was like cussing people out and shit? That shit was hella funny. But you don't watch By the Mile? He's entertaining. When he be getting mad, dude. He gets people that go at, like, I got people that come in here and talk shit, you know, sometimes. But I don't get on here like what? Someone was trolling me about, oh, no. Very bad connection. Oh. Bro, what's up with the connection though?